Hi, everybody. Before I actually get into my presentation, I just want to acknowledge, I think today there has been some extremely compelling dialogue and conversation, and very thought-provoking, and I think I want to take that and basically use it as ammunition to challenge this notion that Canada is behind. I think we're not behind. I think what we've heard and seen today is testament that our tenacity and our resiliency, we're actually leading with no perceived leadership. You know, Canada is actually I'll just call something up here. I did some quick fact checking. With respect to the UK, which is of course considered leaders, or they're considered leaders in some capacity. The NBS International BIM report of 2016 indicated that in terms of BIM adoption over the previous 12 months, before the survey was taken, and they consider BIM adoption very generically, I'll admit that, it's using BIM on at least some projects. The leader internationally was Denmark at 78%. The UK was third at 48%. Canada was second at 67%. No mandate, no standards, no seemingly cohesive community. Well, I personally think it's BS. I think what we've seen today, we are going to be the leaders precisely because we apparently did it without leadership. And I think the Canadian mentality that sometimes rears its ugly head, this inferiority complex, that is so invalid in this case. I think we are definitely leading the charge, and we see it at what we're doing, what we're going to talk about right now. We're contacted from countries all over the world because they see what we're doing. And I can only imagine when the government does decide to do something, they're actually going to have to catch up to us. Well, so I shouldn't say us, but us, because you're really the players in this. And then I thought it was, we need to hear that. We're not second rate. We're second, but we're not second rate. So I just thought that was interesting, and I had numbers on construction contribution to economies, but I wasn't very good at math, so we'll just let that go. So I'll proceed on what I was here actually to do and give an update on the certification programs and announce or display the names of our latest certified individuals. Do we know where I'm pointing this? Oh. So a few years ago, some of you have seen this presentation, so bear with me. CanBIM decided it was time to lead in the apparent lack of leadership, and we sat down and said we're going to establish something to pull the Wild West industry of BIM in Canada together. And we developed the only industry-established, industry-recognized certification program for professionals. And arguably, I will say it was, and it seems to still be, not only on the Canadian frontier, but also on the international frontier. It's for professionals working in Canada's BIM and VDC environment. It's the standard for developing and demonstrating BIM and VDC and process management competencies. And according to the BIMdictionary.com, competency is that particular combination of knowledge, skill, and experience, and attitude. Attitude is very important. When I read that, everything I've talked about and will be in my slides is about knowledge, skill, and experience. But attitude has to be in there as well. Somehow we have to put that into our certification applications. Do you have an attitude? And that'll give you a few points. But that's what we're looking at. It's like, what are we able to do? What are you able to do? And recognize it and benchmark it and make it worth something. Another quote from today, which you contributed, thank you, was demonstrate industry performance in a quantitative way. And I think that's what our certification is trying to do as well. We're quantifying the wealth of what exists in this community. So we developed three divisions of our program over the last couple of years. certification for professionals, certification for education and training institutions, and our company certification, which is evolving as well. I'll talk first to the professional certification. So again, here's that combination, the triumvirate of skill, knowledge, and experience. We knew that these were the targets we had to hit in some capacity to really determine how and what we certify. So skill is obviously software tools, how to use them, when to use them, why to use them. The knowledge of a construction knowledge or anything related to that AEC industry, collaborative processes, workflows, dynamics, standards, protocols. The skill is easy to measure. The knowledge is the more difficult to measure. And again, one of the easy ones to measure is the experience, the repetition, the refinement, the learning, the continuous learning that we all need and gain as we move forward in doing projects. So we looked to a competency index that was developed by Dr. Bilal Sukar, in Australia, and Bilal is considered one of the foremost experts internationally on assessments and evaluate, well, just about anything BIM, quite frankly. It's not just about assessments and competencies. And we took his diagram here where he generically classified the competencies from 0 in both knowledge and skill right up to level 4, which he calls expert. And he, put descriptive elements in there that sort of helped to define the quantitative elements for those particular levels. So I thought this was a very useful direction or diagram to use in developing our own items. So we took this and sort of attached it to what we thought we would like our certification to reflect or be quantified as. And really, we didn't really change much. We changed the level indications from P1, P2, P3, and CP. Up until recently, they were BP and BP2, BP1, BP3. But the idea, and I think we heard it here today, of the word BIM, so it would have been BIM Professional Level 1, I think we're going to remove the B and just, it's a CanBIM Professional. So we're sort of trying to take away the restrictive tag of it just being BIM. And from that, we attached the levels, as I said, level 1, 2, 3, and certified professional. We stripped away the generic descriptions and made them generic in a different manner by sort of attributing quantities to it or qualities that we thought were relevant to what CanBIM wanted to do. It starts out with a very introductory level of conceptual knowledge and virtually no software knowledge. We're looking at a very fundamental basis of knowing what BIM is, period. Level 2 brings you up to a more intermediate level of the concept, but it now introduces an intermediate level of software or tool knowledge. And moving forward, we get up to a more advanced level of conceptual, an advanced level of applied and practical applications. And beyond level 3 is where the continual experience now kicks in. There's a divide there of repetition. So all along the way here, professional experience is considered and assessed by our assessors. So it's not just what you've done for a course or a seminar or things of that nature. That could get you level 1 and perhaps partly through level 2. But now we're looking at what have you actually done successfully as a professional? And what is the documented proof or material that you could provide to illustrate that to our assessment panel. So the repetition then after level 3, certified professional is based upon repetition, doing a certain number of projects at a high level of integration with BIM and the full process. And once you've gotten up to level 4, you're considered a CP, which at the moment is the highest level that you can achieve at CanBIM certification. And the 4 levels are sort of broken down into competency topics and assessment targets. I'm going to go through them in the subsequent slides. But we broke it down into very fundamental elements, right? What competency is it? What are the topics that one should be familiar with? And how do we assess that competency. So level 1, as I said, is very introductory, fundamental. It's a very general knowledge. It is literally, you don't even need to turn on the computer. You just take an introductory level course, or even through practical experience working within the environment, you gain a fundamental knowledge. The assessment target is the command of the knowledge that forms the foundation of the process. And the method is either through a course that is recognized by CanBIM or professional experience, which you indicate in the application and is assessed by our assessors. Moving forward, level 2, now we get into data integration and coordination. It's the ability to use a BIM-related software and applications in relation to the process. Now, I'm sort of going through this quickly, but there's more information on the website, and we're going to be elaborating a little bit more on what's there now. The assessment target is command of the tools and the software and the working method. It's a solid conceptual understanding with some of the practical application. And again, method is course-based and/or professional experience. So you could take a course if you're a student, you're taking it at school. If you've worked in a firm for a couple of years or a year and you've been learning the software just by working at it rather than taking a formal course, there's an evaluation and assessment of that as well. We move forward up to level 3, which frankly I think is the difficult one. Now we get into more of the management capacity. So you're not simply utilizing the software repeatedly over and over and over again. You're moving up and applying and managing BIM as it relates to the business management, project management, or design management within a designated discipline, whether it's infrastructure related, building related. We sort of try to recognize all the different disciplines. The target is the command of the management plan, the protocols, significant conceptual knowledge at this point, practical experience, and performing very defined activities and tasks at a consistently high standard. This is, the requirements here are a management course or experience, but it also requires the involvement for one project, hopefully from start to finish in some capacity, playing a fundamental role in driving the project and delivering the project. So the methods are a combination of course-based and professional experience. Sorry about that. Or it could be entirely professional experience. Someone may not have taken a course in BIM management and has been doing it for a number of years. Well, if that's the case, then the experience will demonstrate that they've reached those assessment targets. And we have a lot of people that will do that. We have a lot of people that skip 1 and 2 and go straight to 3, as long as the documentation supports the application and there's reasonable access to proof. There's references that are contacted, and our assessors, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. The assessors are all CP, so they know what they're looking for someone who should be at a level 3. CP then is a level 3 capacity or competency repeated over and over and taking it just one step further to the facilitation. So it's the command of the processes, skills that are common to all fields, all components of the project. It's the implementation strategies, and this one is based entirely on professional experience. So you could make your way up through the 4, you could jump up to 3, jump to 2, jump to 4, as long as you can provide the assessors with all the appropriate background information. It's quite possible just to jump straight up to 4, and we've had a number of people do that straightforward. We've now, as of today, certified a total of 179 certified individuals. In October, we had 149. Our goal was 150, so I keep saying that we failed by 1. But we're going along at a really good click. We've got some very committed partners that have helped us along the way refine the process, and they've really put a strong team effort into having their employees certified, and that really helps bolster the credibility of the program. 34 level 1s, 99 2s, 27 3s, and 19 CPs. And I believe this round there were, Jerry, how many applications were there this round? Like 51 or something? Yeah. 51, and I think we had 30 that did get certified, and the other ones will be providing additional information. So that's our certification for professionals. Education, we've been working with Building Smart Canada, as Eric said earlier, on establishing a framework for education, which quite frankly, again, it's very healthy. Wherever we go, there's something happening in a lot of post-secondary educational institutions. It's just a matter of tying it all together and bringing it all together. What we've done over the last year or so is we've begun to set designations for educational programs and courses. Again, this is a summary. There's more information available if you contact us, but we're starting out with a very fundamental theory level and working its way right up through software fundamentals, and then educational levels 1 through to 3. And this tries to cover most of the correlating items in the professional certification. And a lot of it can be directly attributed for eligibility over to professional. And the only one where right now is partial eligibility is our level 3. And the only reason is because level 3 correspondingly from education to professional, the one significant difference between the two is that our level 3 and 4s are fundamentally based on professional experience. So we recognize that there are institutions out there that do co-op and do practicums, which is fantastic. There's a consideration towards that. So there's a reduction in hours that are required, because there's hours required for level 3. But really, the person finishing a certified program needs to come out and complete a portion of the required on-site professional experience to qualify for level 3. So it actually helps the institutions quite a bit. Their students come out, and if they've got a job right away, they can work, and they can work their way to level 3. But it also respects the very definitive attributes that industry has told us have to stay in place for this certification to have any merit, and that is the professional component. Simulation is great, co-op is great, but there's nothing like, lacing on a plane. I'm a huge Formula One fan. Driving something on a video game is one thing, but then getting behind the car at 300 kilometers an hour, well, that's a whole different thing. So, the experience has to be fundamental. It's the only way really to quantify what it is that the industry is doing. We have a number of courses and programs that are either in process or have been certified. From Quebec, the Cégep, we've got George Brown College from Toronto, Algonquin and Okanagan Valley is actually, they're pending, review in progress, and pending review, Nova Scotia Community College, SAIT, VCC, York, and Saskatchewan. These are all members of CanBIM who, as members, we invite them, we say to them, listen, we're going to review what you've got, and then we'll see where you can fit in. You provide us the information for the course you want us to look at, and we'll do it for you and get you certified for those courses at no cost for the first course. So we've got certification of individual courses, certification of programs, and student certification, which we're working on right now. We've also got certified components for in-house company private trainers, or there's companies like Dialogue, SNC-Lavalin, IBI, Turner Fleischer. They all have their own internal academies where curriculum is delivered to their employees. So we're in the process of reviewing all of those. So certified is Bird Construction, Global E-Training. Actually, we did an announcement a couple of weeks ago that a bunch of their courses will be in place for certification this month. Ziggurat is an organization based out of Spain that provides BIM management courses at a very high level in Spanish, Portuguese, English. I think that's it for now. Elliston, AGC of America. Certification pending. Turner Fleischer and IBI have submitted all their quite a bit of information on their courses, so I anticipate before our Montreal session that will be well in place. We're hoping over the next few weeks that those will be over with and done and certified. So anybody taking any IBI or Turner Fleischer employee taking their courses, completing them, assessed, they just need to provide the certificate or the letter of confirmation from their employer, and the assessment period is actually, they forego the formal assessment period because the courses have already been assessed. So it's just a formality. You submit the application and the recommendation is made, approved, and it goes forward. Pending, moving forward, SNC-Lavalin has really jumped on the bandwagon full force. We've got quite a few applications, some of which are done today, and Dialogue has also submitted their courses as well. Company certification is proving to be a lot more complex. We're taking, I like to say, like it's a sea, it's an ocean with a lot of fish in it, and then you throw in 3 boats of projects, people, and systems, and you've got protocols and objectives and all, and then you distill it somehow. You run it through a filter and see what comes out on the other side and begin to quantify those levels of assessment. We're doing it now. It's just a matter of taking the time that it takes to really ensure we do it properly. We're looking at other similar models, but not quite exactly like what we'd like to do. So that's moving forward, and we really hope to have that robustly in place before the end of the year. But I can say that we have launched our Level 1. And our Level 1 certification actually, same diagram from the professionals. Those are always the 3 key elements, although I'm going to have to add attitude in there as well. Same competency index. Sorry, this is all very repetitive. So it works the same way, just the levels, we still haven't named them, but it'll work in the same fashion as the other one. So the first level starts out with people. And people meaning it's going to be a CanBIM certification, so people indicates if a company, if an organization has one person at every level certified within their personnel or employees, they automatically get Level 1 certification. There's no application, it just kicks in automatically. If a company has managed to certify 4 individuals, 1 at each level minimum, they are automatically certified at Level 1. Moving forward, then we'll begin to look at how are they doing any modeling, what are they doing with the modeling. Collaboration would be the 3rd level, and again, this will become more explicit as we move forward. And then, again, the last one will be about repetition. Repetition. What have they done? How many? Success, not success. The protocols are in place. They've been repeated. So it will prove to be a little bit, a very beefy process when it comes to company certification. In our strategy session yesterday, we also touched upon the idea of project certification, which may tie into this, but that's still a little bit further down the road. So we do have one Level 1. Happy to say that in Toronto in our AGM, Turner Fleischer was the first company in Canada to receive Level 1 certification. I think they've got, like, what, 500 employees certified, Steve? 600, okay, sorry. No, the Turner Fleischer were very committed to getting their employees certified, and they reached that level very quickly, so we were happy to do that. And I'm also happy to say that pursuant to today's ceremony, we actually have 2 more Canadian companies that are eligible to receive Level 1 if their employees accept the certifications that they've been recommended for. What we're looking to do new moving forward in 2017 is new professional certifications for foundations in theory and software. We've been talking about a CanBIM project manager certification, not a BIM manager, but a project manager certification. We purposely try not to attach job role titles because really it should be up to you what you want or the company to decide where that person is best suited to work within the particular organization. And we're looking at, again, as I said, Level 2 certification. We're very happy to say that, as I said earlier, Canada, internally we might be perceived as not being where everybody else is, but internationally they're perceiving us differently. And I think that is the beauty of Canada. I think we've got a good reputation across the board. And I think it really helps us. So we've been contacted by 2 organizations in Europe that would like to look at opportunities of partnering up with us with regards to certification of courses and individuals, both at academic and professional level. So those are actively underway, and hopefully before the end of the year, that'll be in place as well. And that's it. Are there any questions before we move into the actual raw of certification? No questions? Because all of you have seen it before, right? So normally we have our certification ceremony where we actually have some of the people being certified are present, and they receive their certificates and a good firm handshake and a bottle of champagne. I can say that now because they're not here and we don't have champagne, but we'll still go through they managed to get certified, they went through the efforts, so I would like to take the opportunity to at least display their names. Now, our certification assessment panel, the process is submission of application, it's vetted for compliance to submission requirements. Once that's done, it goes to a certification assessment panel, which can consist of anything from 5 to 7 assessors. All the assessors are CP certified, so they are considered knowledgeable in what they are trying to assess. It's a mandatory requirement, and what we try to do is every year or 2 years we will rotate them and start introducing new CPs to get more and more people familiar with the requirements and the process. So this round, Scott was one of the assessors. Paul Loretto from L360, Paul's not here. So it usually consists of 3 or 4 directors and 2 or 3 general membership CPs, CanBIM members who are CP certified. Brent Mowdy from IBI and Ian Trudeau from Intuitive. From our general membership, we had Magdalena from Pomerleau and Michael Sullivan from Bush, Bowman and Partners. So they are our assessors for the time being, for this round and moving forward. Certification assessment is broken down into 2 sectors. Level 1 and Level 2 require a majority of the assessors recommending certification. Level 3 and Level 4 require a unanimous consensus of all 3 or 4 of the assessors. It is a very extensive, diligent procedure, and those higher levels, we felt it was important that there be a consensus by all the assessors. It's that critical, and I can attest to the fact that they are very particular. We provide feedback, we provide comments, and we give the applicant an opportunity to upgrade or provide additional information or clarification. But the level 3 and 4 are very in-depth analysis and do require a majority consensus of the assessors. So our level 1s this time around, 11 people, and it's good to see that it sort of ranges. I was really happy to see somebody from the Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries Corporation. I thought that was actually really cool. From Winnipeg. We've got a few from IBI, SNC, Turner Fleischer's in there once again, Dialogue. So there's a good cross-section of different companies across the board. And again, we get architects, we get builders, we get other consultants, liquor boards. So it's open to everybody. I think we have somewhere in here, I think level 2, we have even Stouffville Glass in Toronto, in Stouffville, Ontario, and they're using specific software in a BIM-related software in how they design and manufacture their components. So that was recognized. Again, SNC Lavalin, Ellis Dawn, Turner Fleischer, and IBI as well. I think you can get a good sense of who might be getting the next company certification from these. Level 3 now tends to be little bit more sparse because of this, the consensus that needs to be reached by the assessors. Oh, this is great. Sorry, I forgot about this. We actually have our first international individual being certified. Mr. Rodney Joseph Mendoka from Ahmedabad, India. That was awesome. And he was going to fly in, but I'm kidding. And we actually did have an application from Spain, but there was just some discrepancies in the application, so we're going to send it back and they'll provide additional information. So here's evidence that now our international certification is starting to garner attention, and we have had a number of other calls from other countries. And Calvin from Turner Fleischer as well. I think he just came back from doing his master's, correct? So this is kind of neat. And level CP, Murdad from Tucker High Rise. And Division 15 Mechanical. Is there anybody here from Division 15? So you'll pass, I believe she may already know. But so we have an additional 2 CPs in our assessment pool and in our certification pool. So this is it. There's nobody here to receive anything, so there's no snapshots and clapping of the hands. But I hope in closing that what was said today, and I think what I added coming up here was, you know, we are definite leaders. We are doing so much as a country, as an industry in this country, that we need to bolster ourselves a little bit more, because I think internationally they do hold us in high esteem. So it's time, you know, we tossed everything away, and I think the success of what we're seeing with some of these programs, like the certification program, is just testament to that. So kudos to you. Let's get some applications in, and let's reach 500 people for 2017. How's that? Thank you for your time.